Hello, it's Jeanette with Amazing Paper Crafts. Thank you for joining me today for another video tutorial. Today I have a little card that I want to share how I made. This one is just a note card. As you can see, it just says just a note. Well, when I saw that, I thought music note. So I thought, well, how can I make a music note using some Stampin' Up! Products? And I figured it out, and it's really not that hard at all. So I'm just going to show you how I put this card together. It's real simple. It's just a 1, 2, 3 layer card with, you know, the stuff, these little things in the middle, and of course a butterfly with some diamonds or some rhinestones there. So what you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. I use Whisper White, and this measures 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to be opening it this way. Okay, we're not going to need that for a few minutes. Then you're going to need a piece of black cardstock that you're going to layer on this white. But we're going to be cutting some pieces out of here before we layer this, and then got crumbs of something on here. I don't know what that is. And then the piece that I'm going to stamp on measures, oh, I'm sorry, this piece measures 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. So that's 4 inches this way, 5 1/4 this way. That's the next layer. This one measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay. So it's kind of like that, you know, layered effect with a little 1/8 inch border all the way around. That's what we're going to have. So let's first make the little note. I'm going to use some, well, let's see. I'm going to use some dies for this. And the die that I found to do this little round part here, you would think that that's a punch, but no, that's a die, because the large oval punch that we have was a little too big and not shaped right. So what I did was I found a die in my Curvy Keepsake, and this is the oval tag here. So that's what I used on this here, and also another die that I used for this little curly thing. I forget what they call that bar. Maybe it's a bar, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've taken music lessons. Anyway, I used this little wavy, what do they call this? This is the Framelits Bitty Banners from the Framelits Bitty Banners set. I used this little one that waves, okay? And let me show you how I did that. I also used one punch for the background of just a note, and I made this little tag using the decorative label punch, and I'll show you how I did that. And then a few stamps and everything. So let me bring this in here, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and punch this out of the black. And don't worry, since you're going to be layering it, as long as you keep like a 1/4 inch border around it, you can go ahead and use up the middle for whatever you want. Okay, now I'm doing that first, and I'm going to show you how I made this with this little punch out here. And then I'm going to bring this in, and I'm also going to bring this in, and I'm going to take this and bring my big shot in and show you how I did this. Okay, right back with my big shot. Oh, my messy big shot with my well-loved plates. Okay, this way. I hope you can see this. Okay, I'm going to be putting this like this. Okay, bring this over here, or maybe I can move my camera a little. Now, I'm going to be cutting this like this, and I'm going to be cutting this like that. Okay, and then you are going to see how I put that together. Alright, now this I can just take off, because this I'm going to be using when I put it together. But with this die, once I take this off, okay, I think you can see that I have this little piece right here. So in order to make the the piece that I need for the top of the note, I need to kind of move it over at a slight diagonal. Okay, let me bring this over here on this side here. I'm moving this over. I'm laying this down here. Slight diagonal. Kind of have to get on top of it here, so sorry if my head shows. And you don't really have to make it too wide. I'm going to just, I'm using my magnetic platform for this. So I'm hoping it stays. Normally I like to tape things down. See, that's why I like to tape things down, because taping it down means that it's not going to jump with the magnets. So let me try this again. I'm going to tape that down. There it is. Okay, taping that down. And now let's move this through. Okay. And now what you have is just that little wavy piece that you need for the end of your, for the top part of your note. See that? Okay. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Now let me move this big shot out of the way. I love this machine, but boy is it bulky. Okay, so I have my pieces. This piece here, it measures 1/4 of an inch. It's just a piece of black that I cut off of the black leftovers. And this piece I will work on later. And so let's put the note together. What you're going to need to do is cut off that little circle like that, okay? And use your silicone craft sheet and just put a little bit of SNAIL adhesive on here. Oops. All right, I know how to use this stuff. You have to open it first. Okay, little SNAIL adhesive on here. And I'm going to just pick that up. I'm going to let me move this out of the way so you can see it on camera. I'm just going to go ahead and layer it like this. And then I'm going to trim it from the back, okay? And you kind of have to tilt it just a little bit, okay? And so from the back end here, I can, here we go. I'm going to just trim that off, okay? Okay, and now there's your bottom part, okay? Easy enough. And so with that little top piece, you're going to take this and let me just get a good measurement here. Okay, I'm just going to snip it off right here. I'm cutting off about 1 inch off the top of this piece. I think I started out with a piece that was about 4 or 5 inches, but altogether, hold on a second, that black piece will probably measure 2 3/4 of an inch. But now I'm going to be putting that like this. Okay, does that look like a note? Okay, I know it's kind of backwards the way I'm doing things, but it works. It works for me. Okay, now you don't want to stick it out too much, and I'm going to just go ahead and trim that. And there's my note. Okay, isn't that cute? Just using a few supplies and tools. Okay, now I'm going to work on the front part of this right here. I'm going to do my stamping, and for my stamping on this, I used the Flowering Flourishes, and I used this one here, the smaller one here. And what I did to line this up so that I could have it kind of like a perfect frame is I did use my Stampin'-Up, but I didn't stamp on that transfer sheet. What I did was I just took my stamp, okay, my clear stamp. You can't do this really if you don't have the clear stamp. You'd have to use your Stampin'-Up if you have the wood stamp. But for the clear stamp, all I did was just kind of butt that up against the card. I kind of, looked to see where I'd want it. And then with the Stamp-A-Majig, I was able to kind of corner, you make that corner, and then put the actual block to pick up the stamp, okay? And now I've got it positioned where I want it, so I'm going to bring in my basic black, okay? Bring that Stamp-A-Majig on the corner here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and ink it up the best I can. Ink it up. I just ink this up, so I'm hoping that it's not too juicy. Oh no, it's good. Okay. And hold on to your Stamp-A-Majig and stamp right down. Okay. Oops. And see, I didn't ink it up very well. I can still hold that still and come back and stamp. There we go. Now I'm going to turn my card, and I'm going to do the same thing with this flourish. This is such a pretty design here for making borders on your cards. There's another one. Okay. You have a little bit of, no I don't. I thought I smudged it, but I didn't. Okay. It's just some frayed paper. Okay. Get your card and your Stamp-A-Majig lined up nice and neatly. There we go. And then we're going to do this last part here. Sometimes it takes two hands to line this up. There it goes. Okay. Oops. Didn't go dark enough. There we go. Oh, I smudged it just a little bit. But we'll turn the card over and we'll do the other side. There's always a way. All right, let's see. And I'll speed this part up so you don't have to watch me do this all over again. There we have it. Okay. And it is kind of showing a little through on the other side, but I'm okay with that for now. Okay, so let me just continue. Oh, wait, let's do one more thing. Let's get our piece of Whisper White Cardstock so that we could stamp the Just a Note. And this Just a Note comes from the Picture Perfect stamp set that's in our Occasions catalog for 2016. This Just a Note right here. It's real pretty. This whole set is absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to make more flowers from that one. But, okay, let's put this here. We're going to Just a Note right here. Okay, and then I'm going to punch this out with my word window punch. As straight as I can do it. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to make this tab that I made. Once you punch this out, you want to grab a little handle with a little bit of SNAIL adhesive on the end, just to hold on to it. Okay, and then you're going to put it back in the stamp. Let me put this away. I'm going to put it back in the stamp. Okay, and just very carefully, if you can see, try to get it even. Oh, and there you go. So now you have a little background for your sentiment. So I'm just going to just put it like that. Okay, now I am going to do that with SNAIL adhesive. Okay, and just kind of put it right close to here. Hopefully it's I need to move it down just a little bit. Okay. All right, there it is. Okay, and I'm going to be putting that on my card right here. Okay, and then I'll put my music note that I just made about right here. Okay, and I'm going to lift that up with dimensionals on both of these things. I'm going to put dimensionals on the just a note, one on this side, one on this side. Okay, and we're going to put this close to here because I want to stamp a butterfly like I did before. Okay, and then we're going to lift this up with dimensionals. I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the bottom here. Which one's already? And then I'm going to go ahead and cut some of the edge piece off so that I could put a dimensional along this edge here so that will stand. Okay. And let's see, we're going to put it like this. Okay. And then let's stamp a little butterfly on that. And for that, I'm using the stamp set Papillon Potpourri. Papillon is butterfly in French, oui oui. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and use some basic black again. Stamping that butterfly right here. Oops. Well, I didn't do such a good job, so maybe I should use my Stampin' to fix this. And I'm sure everybody knows how to use their Stampin' but sometimes if you make a mistake and you need to redo your stamp because you didn't stamp it hard enough, using the Stampin' to line things up is a really good thing. Okay. Here we go. Now I don't know how it's going to work because I have this note in the way, but I'm going to see. It might be close enough. That's good enough. Okay. Put that away. Now let's get some rhinestones. Well, actually, you know what? Let's layer this now. Okay. That's what I want to do. I want to just put some SNAIL adhesive on the back of this. Okay. And I will try to get it nice and even. Okay. And then I will put some more SNAIL adhesive. Now you could pop this up with some more dimensionals if you want some more dimension on this card. I think I am just going to leave it like that. I think I have enough dimension on it with the music note. And I'm going to be putting some rhinestones. So a little bit more over. Okay. I also like to do this with Tombow Mono adhesive because you have a little bit of time, a little bit of wiggle room, so to speak, to get this on there straight. Now let's get our basic rhinestones, and we're going to go ahead and put some rhinestones on here. I'm going to take my paper piercing tool, and I think what I'll do first is I will trim about 3 little ones off the side here to put on the butterfly right here. Okay, and then I'm going to just take one rhinestone and put one right here, and take another rhinestone and put one right there on the other side of that little tag. Okay, and there's my card. It's a simple card to do. Someone will appreciate, some music lover will appreciate that. And of course you're going to do a much neater job on yours, right? So anyway, I hope you try this. This is Jeanette with Geomazing Paper Crafts. If you need any supplies or tools that I used in this video, please visit my website at www.geomazingpapercrafts.stampinup.net. And I hope to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. So you make it a great day. Bye-bye.